In this video, I'm gonna show you how you can create Ellie's flashlight from the Last of Us 2 video game. And you can download the project file from our Gumroad page, the link is in the description. Before we jump into modeling, I actually sent the final design to get 3D printed, and the result came back from JLC 3DP who sponsored this video. This was actually my first time sending a model for 3D printing, and I wasn't sure what to expect. But honestly, the result turned out way better than I imagined. Just look at the surface finish, it's super clean, no rough edges or weird layer lines. Even the tiny details came out sharp, exactly like I modeled in Blender. I'll show you how to upload the file and order the print. It's super simple. Just head over to jlc3dp.com. After signing up, click on Order Now. You can upload your file directly or just drag and drop it into the page. It only takes a second. Once it's uploaded, you'll see a bunch of options to choose from, like the 3D printing technology, material, color, surface finish, and more. There are also tons of coupons available, so don't forget to check those out. When you're ready, hit Submit Order. Enter your shipping address, pick your shipping method, and confirm the order. And that's it. The shipment arrived in great condition. Everything was really well packed and secure. All the parts were protected properly and there was absolutely no damage. Big thanks to JLC 3DP for sponsoring this video. If you want to get your own model printed, check out their website, the link is in the description. So here is Ellie and her flashlight. We are in photo mode from the Last of Us 2, and I can't get any closer, but from here you can still see some of the details on the flashlight. If you want this model only for 3D printing purposes, clean topology isn't necessary. But I'll show you how to model this with sub-D modeling workflow. This is the complete model with all the pieces we'll be modeling in this tutorial. Let's begin with this one. So we got a base cylinder and an 8-vertex circle that we're going to subtract from it. But how many vertices should the base cylinder have? We'll add 3 edges for the circle itself and 1 extra to leave some space before the next one. Since we need 12 circles and each one uses 3 faces, we'll go with a 36 segment cylinder. Let's jump into Blender and create the model. So I'm gonna add a circle with 36 vertices, and let's go to edit mode and press F to fill this, and then press I for inset and extrude this up like so. Alright, now we need to add another circle, so Shift A and circle, and this time I'm gonna put the 8 for the vertices and scale this down and move this up here. Something around here. Alright, now we need to go to edit mode and extrude this up like so, and maybe move this down here, and then we need to select this base one and go to, actually before that we can delete these faces, and then select this one, go to modifiers and select the boolean. Alright, now we need to select this object and then just apply this. So we can delete this one and then go to edit mode, select this one, go to edit mode and select these faces and press Ctrl I to invert the selection and then delete these faces. Alright, let's go closer and let's see if we have a double vertices, which we don't have. And then you can select these edges, extrude down, and then press S, Z and 0 to flatten the edges and then move this down. Alright, next we are going to extrude this like so, and then we can delete some of these edges. So let's go to wireframe and select this one, and I'm gonna snap it here. Here is a quick tip on how you can snap. For example, I'm gonna put the snap on the vertex and then select this edge and then press G for move, And then I'm gonna hold control and hover my mouse cursor on one of these vertices. As you can see, it's gonna snap there. But also you can press Z for locking the movement to the Z axis, and then hold control and then hover your mouse here. As you can see, it's gonna snap the same height as this vertex. This time I'm gonna press E for extrusion and then press Z and hold control and hover here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. As you can see, it's gonna extrude the exact same height as this vertex. Also for this one, I'm gonna moving these vertex from the top view and then holding control, and it's gonna snap here but exactly to that vertex, which we don't want that. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna move this and then press Shift Z to exclude the movement from the Z axis, and then hold control and I'm gonna snap it here exactly at the same position of this vertex. So the snap is on vertex. So press G for move and then press Shift Z to exclude the movement from the Z axis, and then hold control and hover here, and as you can see, it's gonna snap exactly on this vertex. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Alright, now we need to bevel this, so selecting these edges and also these, and then press Ctrl B and do a 2 segments bevel. The profile shape is on 1. Alright, now we can add an edge here and another one here, which I'm gonna add a vertex and select these two and press J to join them together. Also these two, and also let's go down and I'm gonna add an edge here and also a vertex here. So select these two, press J to join, and also this one to join. So we have an gun here. You can fix this, you don't actually need that, but let's do this. You can add an edge here and also another one here, and that's it. So we need to copy this. I'm going to go up, select all, and put the transform pivot point on 3D cursor. Then press Shift D to copy this, and then press R to rotation. And then for the angle, if you don't know, you can just put this closer to this one and then click. So here, as you can see, the angle on is about 30, so it is 30. And then press Shift R to repeat this. And then select all, and then press M, merge by distance. So you can select these bottom edges, and then press Shift Alt S and move your mouse to make it a perfect circle like so. Also, we can add an edge loop here, and if you want to make it even, you can press E. I'm selecting this edge loop, and if you press double G, you can slide this edge. And if you press E, you can turn on the even mode, which is going to match the shape of adjacent edges. And if you press F, you can flip to the other side. Also, by pressing E, you can turn off the even mode. So I'm going to put this here. And also select this one, press F, I, and E to extrude down, and then delete these faces. Select these edges, press Ctrl B for 2 segment bevel, and I'm gonna press Ctrl 3 for 3 segments, subdivision surface, and shade smooth. For the next part, you are going to model this section and copy it 5 times, just like we did before. And we need 60 vertices for the base circle. Why 60? Because I want this dent to be small. And also I need these edges to control my bevel. Here is a comparison between 60, 36, and 24 vertices base circle. Now let's add a circle with 60 vertices, and let's isolate this. Go to edit mode, press F to fill this, and press I for inset, and let's move this down like so. We can put this on boundary box, and we need to delete this. And also we can select these edges, press E and right click to cancel, and do a scale like so, and then maybe a little more. And then we need to select these and 10 segments, and then Ctrl I to invert this and delete. Alright, let's go closer, add an edge loop here, then select these faces and do an inset like so. select these vertices, double G to slide this a little, minus 0.2, also these, double G, and here minus 0.2. And then select these again, do another inset, and then delete these faces. So now I'm gonna select these edges and press E for extrusion, Z for locking the axis, and hold Control and snap here. Then select this one, press F to fill this, also this one press F, and select all, and then Control F, create fill. Now we can add an edge loop here and press E for even mode and put it right here, and also another one to the top. You can again press E for even mode and press F to flip this like so, and another one here, E, another one here, E, F, and also we can select these and double G to slide this. You can turn on the even, and let's go closer, 0.7, and you can select these, double G, E for even, F for flip, and you can put this around here. Alright, then also if you want to, you can select these and double G to move this up like so. Alright, maybe add another one here and subdivide this, adding subdivision surface, 2 levels, and shade smooth. Alright, now we can select all, and also you can turn on the auto merge vertices. Turn this on, and then you can make a copy. So before that, put this on 3D cursor, Shift D, make a copy, and R for the rotation, and put this here. So put the angle on 6T, and then press Shift R to repeat this. Alright, now because you turned on the auto merge vertices, you don't need to apply the merge by distance because it's already merged. Alright, let's go back from the isolate mode and rotate this 90 degrees. You can select this one and press Shift S, cursor to select it, and then select this one, the new part, and press Shift S, selection to cursor to make it exactly at the middle of this one, and then scale this down, put this inside the other part. Alright, onto the next part. This one is made of several different pieces. First, we'll add a cube, add a bevel like this, and join a cylinder. Let's add a cube and rescale. Then press Ctrl A and apply the scale, then go to isolate mode, go to wireframe, select these edges, and then press Ctrl B for bevel. So here I'm gonna put these segments on 6 and the profile on 0.5, and I'm gonna turn on the clamp. Then we need to select all vertices, press M and merge by distance. Alright, now I'm going to add edge loop here. Time to add the cylinder, but keep in mind that that cylinder is going to cut these faces as well. And also these edges are defining the curvature of this section. And also I'm going to make that cylinder from a circle. So Shift A and add a circle. But how many vertices for this circle? These are the 2 faces we're going to cut. If we add this edge, those 2 vertices can be controlled with these edges. It continues the same way. One of them will be handled with an edge loop, and the last one works with the edge we already made. And I found that a 32 segment circle is almost exactly what we need. So here I'm going to add the circle, so I'm going to press Shift A and circle 32 and rotate this through Y-axis 90 degrees, and I can select both and go to edit mode and then select this one. I'm going to move this here and snap. And then I'm going to add another circle, so Shift D and scale this up. This one is going to support this circle because you can change the edges for this circle because you're gonna lose the curvature Also for this section, you can change the edges for this one as well, because also you're going to lose the curvature for this section. So we're going to use this edge to make the transition between these two sections. Alright, now I'm going to make a knife project from this circle into this one. So here is how the knife project works. I have two separate objects and I can project the edges of the circle onto this sphere. So to do that, I'm going to select the sphere, go to edit mode, and then select the circle from the outliner, then go to mesh, knife project. You need to keep in mind that it depends on your view angle. So you go to orthographic view, for example to the right view, and then while your circle is selected, go to mesh and knife project. Select this one, go to edit mode. We are going to select this circle from the outliner and then go to mesh and knife project. Alright, then you can hide this, and then we are going to delete these faces, and also I'm going to add from here at the middle a loop cut, and then select these and join them by pressing J, and then I'm going to delete these faces. Alright, now here, as I said before, we are going to connect this one to this edge because we can't change this vertex. It's joined to this line, this edge loop, which we can change. So I'm gonna double G slide this to this one and also this one as well. But from here we can't move this because this edge is where we can change, but this one we can. So I'm gonna move this and join here, also this one, and add an edge loop here and join these two together by pressing J, and basically we're done from this curve part. And then also we need to add some edge loop here. If you want to, you can use knife tool and join these vertices like so. So now we can symmetrize this model to the right and the bottom. Symmetrize works like the mirror modifier, and it depends on where your origin is. So my origin is here. So while you're in edit mode, you can select all or some section of your model, then go to mesh and symmetrize. For example, I'm gonna symmetrize this through here. So I'm gonna use this as a guide. So here is minus Y, which is this section, to the Y. So I'm going to go to direction and select minus Y to Y. And it's gonna copy this to the other side. Also, I can select all and go to mesh again, symmetrize, and for example here I'm gonna select Z to minus Z and copy this from top to the bottom. So I'm select this vertex and press Shift S, cursor to selected, and then go to object mode, select the object, right click and set the origin to 3D cursor, and then go to edit mode, select all, go to mesh, symmetrize, and we are going to symmetrize from Y to minus Y. So put the direction on Y to minus Y, and also another one to the bottom. So again, select all, go to mesh, symmetrize, and Z to minus Z. Alright, and also we can delete these, delete these faces, and then we can extrude this down, and then also we can select this circle and extrude this little like so, then extrude another time and scale to x-axis and press 0 to flatten this. Also we can press F to fill this, I to inset and extrude inside, and delete this face, and then select these edges and do a bevel, 2 segments and 1 for profile, and there we go. And if you go closer, you can see we have a little pinching here, and that's because we have two vertices so close to each other. So you can select this one and double G to move this out like so, or you can select this one and double G and move it and merge this here, merge them together. You can also select these two and merge here as well. So I think this is better, and we need to do the same thing to the other side. And the same technique we did here to joining this cylinder into this shape with a little bit of curve, you can do this on a complete cylinder as well. So here I did the same thing and I added 8 vertices, 16, 24 into a 32 segment cylinder. Now let's create the top part. We need to remove a cylinder from the top, but before that I'm going to add a cut from here to protect the top section from the bottom. So use a knife tool and I'm going to cut through the y-axis, and I'm pressing C to cutting through the other side as well. And then I'm going to select this vertex and press Shift S and cursor to select it. And I'm going to add a circle with 40 vertices. And then I'm going to select both, go to edit mode, and then select the circle and scale this down around here. So we are going to cut these. Then I'm going to select this circle and extrude up like so. And then I'm going to move this down and snap it here to this edge. Then select this object and go to modifiers and add the boolean. You can put this up, turn off this, and then select this cylinder. And let's see, we can put this on fast. Alright, also before that, we can delete this half. We don't need this for now. Even you can use the mirror modifier if you want to. And now I'm going to turn on the boolean and then apply. Then we can delete this one. Now go to edit mode and we can select these edges and move this up a little to here. All right. And now we can delete some of these faces. You can delete these. Also, if you want to, you can delete these as well. Then now I'm going to delete these faces. Now select these and double G, press E to even mode and put it here. You can move this out a little from here. And now we are going to joining some of these vertices, and like before, these edges and also these are going to define the curvature so we can change them. And this is the supporting edge, which we are going to do the transition from here. So I'm going to select this vertex and double G and move this here, join them together. Also this one and these. All right. And then we are going to select these and then press I for inset. And you can press B for boundary. Also here, I'm going to do a cut. So press K for knife and do a cut through the y-axis. And then press C for cut through option and move this up. And here, I'm going to select these edges. Snap it here, extrude this another time, and snap it here, and another one. All right, also I'm going to add an edge loop here as well. Press E for even mode, and put it here. Now we need to change this. Use the knife tool, I'm going to join these, like so, and then I'm going to delete these. And also this one. Also, I'm going to delete this edge loop as well. And if you want to, you can move this here. Now let's symmetrize this to the other side. So I'm going to select these faces and go to mesh, symmetrize, and it's minus X to X, but origin is not here. So we need to change the origin. So let's go back and I'm going to select this one, or even here is the cursor, so we can go to object mode and right click, set the origin to 3D cursor, and now our origin is here. So let's go back again and select these faces, then go to mesh, symmetrize, and here we go. Also we need to fix this one. Let's join it here and press 1, select all, and then press M and by distance to remove the doubles. Also, if you want to, you can join these vertices by pressing J and then add an edge loop here, and we can move this like so. Now we can symmetrize the whole object to the other side. We are going to make the bottom part and adding some details there. I select this edge loop and I press E, right click, and then scale and move it down. And I'm scaling to X-axis a little. And then extruding down. Then I'm going to select these two edge loops and press Ctrl B for 2 segments bevel, shape profile to 1. Now we are going to do a cut here, so I'm gonna use the boolean, and now we need to add a cube for that. So let's put it here and scale this down. I'm gonna select both and go to edit mode. Then you can hover your mouse here and press L to select this. Alright, then rescale. Alright, about here. So let's move this down and scale this up through the axis like so, and then select this object, go to modifiers, select the boolean and select this cube and difference, and then we are going to apply this, then delete this cube. Alright, let's go to edit mode and we need to delete some of these vertices. Alright, next we are going to select these edges and extrude down, flatten through the axis, and then snap it here. Then we are going to add an edge loop here and flatten this and snap it here through the axis, and add another one and one more. Then select these two and press F to fill, and then select this edge and then press F, and also this one, press F to fill this. And also I'm going to add a cube here, so I'm selecting this vertex and press Shift S and cursor to selected, and then go to object mode and add the cube here and scale this down. Select both, go to edit mode and rescale. Alright, then I'm going to select this one like before and adding a boolean, select this cube and select union and then apply this, and then we can delete this one. So I'm select both and then hold Control and deselect this one and then delete. Then I'm going to add an edge loop here, then join these two together, and then I'm going to add an edge loop here. Select this face and Alt E and extrude manifold and move this back around here, and I can select this one and move this down and also this, and I'm going to make this 3 faces round like a circle. Before that I'm going to add a cut with the knife tool here and move this up a little around here. Alright, then do a 4 segments bevel and move this down. Then I'm going to add 2 edge loop here, and then we need to make it round, but I'm going to add a circle as guide and 8 vertices circle, and then rotate this through y-axis, move this back, scale this down, and put it around here. And then select this object and select these two vertices. And because here we have the x-axis and we need to exclude this from movement, so I'm gonna press G and Shift X and then hold Control and snap it here. And then this one as well. And then we can delete this. Alright, then we are going to select these edges for bevel. So selecting these edges. Then I'm gonna press Ctrl B for 2 segments bevel. And I'm gonna put the meter outer to arc. Then we need to clean up. Alright, also we need to join here and add some edge loops. Join these two together. And we need to make a hole here. But before that, joining these vertices. And then select this face. And you need to use the loop tools. And if you don't have the loop tools, you can go to Edit, Preferences, and here for add-on, you can search for loop tools or maybe in the extensions. And I have it in add-ons and extensions, and you can install here or here, and then select this again, and then add inset. So press I for inset, and then loop tools and circle. All right. Then I'm going to reposition and rescale. And also I can join these two together and add an edge loop here for this and join. And also don't worry about this left part because we are going to symmetrize later from the right to the left. And now we are going to add an edge loop here and join these two together, and also down here. And then I'm going to add an edge loop here and another one here, snap and join. And then select these faces and then press I for inset and then press B for turn off the boundary and around here. And I'm going to do another inset and then again press B. Like so, and then select these faces and then Alt E and extrude manifold, move this inside. You need to delete these faces, and now I'm going to select these vertices and scale to X and move this closer here and add an edge loop here, move this like so. And now again I'm going to select this faces and do another inset, and I'm going to do a little rescaling. And then select these faces and then extrude around here and an edge loop here and another one here. Scale and flatten to Z and move this down. And then also you can select these and then press Shift H to hide the other faces and work on this easily. So I'm going to make this like we did before, like a circle. And scale this down, but Shift X. And then select these edges, move this up, snap it here, also these. And then I'm going to select these faces from both sides and then press I for inset, right click loop tools and circle, and then we can press Ctrl E and bridge edge loops, and we can go back, so Alt H to bring everything back. And then I'm going to select these edges, also these, and then press Ctrl B for 2 segments bevel, and you can put the profile to 1, and then I'm going to join these together. Also for here, join these two together, and we can do a cut and then delete this, and then we can add an edge loop and join these two together and delete this one and join these two together as well, and there we go. Also we can do a bevel here as well, and also select these edges and do another bevel here. Also I'm going to add another edge loop here and join these two together, and I'm going to delete these. Also I'm going to select this one and extrude alpha through this, and also this one here. Alright, and also let's delete this face and bevel this, and it's not going to look pretty, but we can add an edge loop here, or maybe we can select these faces and do an inset and then delete this edge loop. Alright, so now we are going to make this the bottom faces here. So I'm going to select these faces and press Shift H to hide the rest of the model, and then I'm going to select these edges and then extrude through y-axis and flatten through y-axis as well. And here I'm going to select this face, Alt E, extrude manifold, and through here delete the face. Actually I want to make this edge sharp, and I'm going to do a cut like this and another one from here and join these two together and add an edge loop here and another one here. Maybe you can flatten through Y and then snap it here. Also here we can do another cut by using the knife tool and delete this one and join these two together, pressing J. And also here we have a pole that we need to change, so I'm going to join these two together first, and maybe we can delete these two for now, and maybe we don't need this. Let's delete this and let's join this here and add the cut here, join these two together and add the cut like so, delete this, and then joining these two by pressing J, and we can flatten this. And for this one we can join these two together like so. Now press Alt H to bring back everything, and now I'm going to select these faces and then press Shift D to make a copy, and then press S, Z and 0 to flatten this and move this here, snap. And then if you check the face orientation, as you can see we need to flip this normal, so you can select all and then press Shift N to recalculate your normal, and then we can turn off this, and then here we can select this edge loop and then press double G to move this around here, and then select this face, press F to fill like so, and then select this edge loop as well and press double G to move this back, and we can delete these edge loops. And also you can turn on the F2 add-on from the add-on or extension, you can turn on the F2. So then if you select one of the vertices and then press F, you can have a quad face. Alright, then I'm going to fill this as well for now, and let's symmetrize the model. Select all and then go to mesh, symmetrize, and minus x to x, and let's select all the vertices and press M and merge by distance. Then again, I'm going to select these faces and shift edge to hide the rest of the model. I'm going to press F to fill this, and then I for inset, and I'm gonna do another inset. And select these loop and deselect these faces. And Alt E and extrude manifold and move it here. And also I'm going to select this face and delete, then select these edge loop and right click loop tools and select relax and press Shift R and then select this edge loop, Control F and right fill. And also I'm going to use the simple blending. Alright. And we are going to make the last thing for this part, and I'm going to show you a cool trick. We are going to make a hole here and then symmetrize through X and Y. And before that, I'm going to make a copy from this because we need this later. So I'm going to call this source and hide this from viewport and render. Then go to edit mode and I'm going to select these vertices, move this down a little, and maybe selecting these and right click loop tools and space to make an even space between these vertices. And then select these and press Shift R to repeat the last action. And then let's see, we are going to scale this up through Z axis. Maybe we can move this up here and make that hole on these two faces. Next, we are going to select this edge and press Shift S and cursor to selected, and go back to object mode and add a circle with 8 vertices and rescale. Then I'm gonna select both and go to edit mode and select this one and do some adjustment like so. And now we are going to use the knife project. So select this base object and then go to edit mode and then select this new circle. Then go to mesh and knife project. Then we don't need this one, we can hide this. Now I'm going to delete these faces and then select these edges and extrude and flatten through X and snap here. And select these two edges and press F to make a face, and also these. And select these and then press F like so. Next, I'm going to select these edges, not this one, and then do a bevel for 2 segments, and then select these edges and do another bevel for 1 segment. Now we need to join some of these vertices, so I'm gonna select these 2 vertices and press J to join, and also these 2. And what we can do is I'm going to delete this one and also this, and then I'm gonna move this up here and then join these 2 together, this one here, okay, and you can move these vertices up and also these down. Even we can delete this. Okay, and you can move this up here and join these 2 together. And I'm going to join this one here and this one. Also, we can delete these 2 and join these 2 here. Okay, and let's move this down, join these 2 together, and also these 2 together. and we have one more. So what we can do is we can add an edge here and then join these two like so. And I'm doing nothing special here, just adjusting some of these vertices. And then here I'm going to do an inset and right click loop tools and circle. Then we can scale this down and then extrude inside, delete the faces and do bevel, do segments like this. And here is the trick that I wanted to show you. As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see this because of the compression of the video, and we have a problem for the shading. And let me change this to, yeah. And this is because we don't have enough segments for this curve, and we can change this because we have it here and we did this connection here and also we did this here. So we can change this at this moment, but we can fix this by transferring the normal. That was because I made a copy because I wanted to transfer the normal from this object into this one. So to do that, you need to go to modifiers and search for data transfer. And before we continue, we need to define a vertex group that this data transfer only affects on those areas. So I'm going to select these faces, which includes this vertices as well, and then go to data, object data properties, and add a new vertex group and hit assign. Now we need to go back to the modifier, the data transfer, and then here you need to select this object as source object. And then you need to turn on the face corner data. Open this and select the custom normal, and from the mapping select the nearest face interpolated. And if you go to object mode, as you can see, this is the result, but we need to select that vertex group from here. We just fixed that problem. So if I turn off this, I'm not sure if you can see this. If I turn off this, you can see this shading error. And if I turn this on, as you can see the difference. And we just fixed this problem. And the only thing we need to do is symmetrizing this part to the other side, here and over there. So I'm going to select these faces and delete, and then also we can delete these as well. Then I'm going to select this and then press Ctrl plus and then deselect these. Our origin is here, which is correct. And then you can go to mesh. Let's see this from this side. Then go to mesh and symmetrize y2 minus y. So here it is. And I'm going to deselect this for now. And again, go to mesh, symmetrize, and this time minus x to x. Select all the vertices, and then press M and merge by distance. Okay. And then also we need to connect these vertices, and let me add an edge loop here. Let's snap it here and also another one here. And we have that shading problem here. That's because if you go to edit mode and select this vertex group and hit select, as you can see, these vertices are not selected. So we need to select these faces as well. And then hit assign. Now the problem fixed. If you go to edit mode and hit select, as you can see, these faces or vertices are selected. So I'm going to select these faces as well and hit assign to make sure everything is smooth. So let's go back, and that's it. I'm gonna do the same thing here. And hit assign. Here we go. And let's go to the other side. So basically we're done for this part. The only thing I'm going to do is adding an edge loop here and do a bevel, and I'm preparing this part for the next chapter. Press Alt E and extrude faces along normal and extrude this inside a little like so, and then let's select these edges and do a bevel for 2 segments like this. So let's continue. Before making the new part, I'm going to go back from the isolate mode and reposition these. So I'm going to move this away from the previous part, and I'm going to select this edge loop and Shift S cursor to select it, and then select these two and Shift S selection to cursor to put this exactly at the middle of that edge loop, and then move this back, and I can rescale this. Now select this one, go to edit mode, and we are going to hold Alt and select these face loop, and then press Ctrl plus to select these faces as well. And then I'm going to turn off this auto merge and press Shift D to make a copy, right click and then press P and selection to separate this. You can select both and then deselect this one by holding Control, and then you can isolate this. You go to edit mode, and also we can delete this, and then select all, press Alt S to scale this up a little, and then go back from the isolate mode. You can go to wireframe to see this better, so Alt S and move this around here. Also you can delete data transfer and turn off the subdivision surface for now. And then I'm going to go to edit mode and add 4 edge loops, and then you can select these faces and then delete. You can select these edges and extrude, and here I'm going to select these faces. Alright, and delete these faces, and also select these vertices and scale this to Z-axis, and then select these edges and extrude, and also another extrusion through Y-axis like so. And I can go to isolate mode and add an edge loop here, and then select these faces and then delete. All right, now here I'm going to use the knife tool and do a cut like so, because I want this corner to be sharp. And then I'm going to delete this, and here I'm going to add 3 cuts, 3 edge loops. Go to top view and select these vertices, all the vertices, move this up and scale through X-axis, something like this. And if I turn on the subdivision surface, I got this curve. All right, and also I can add an edge loop here, flatten to Y right here, and another one here. Then I'm going back from the isolate mode, select all, and then press Alt E and extrude faces along normal and move it around here. And then I'm going to add 3 edge loops here. Again, go back to isolate mode, wireframe, and then add an edge loop here. Select these vertices. Okay, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did here. And also I'm going to select these and then deselect these. All right, and add an inset like so. Also I'm going to delete this bottom faces, we don't want that, so go to wireframe, select these faces and then delete. And also we need some edge loops here. One here, another one here. E and for even mode. Alright. But we don't want this corner to be sharp, so I'm going to you need to turn on the auto merge and then select these and double G, move this up, and also these double G, move this here to merge, and here is a curved corner. I'm gonna put the level on 3, and then for this one again add an edge loop, do a bevel like here. Also here we don't need this spaces as well, so delete these spaces. I'm going to select this vertex, shift S, cursor to select it, and then go to object mode and set the origin to 3D cursor. Actually we don't need 3D cursor for symmetrize here, but anyway. But before symmetrizing, I'm going to moving this here and also this one about here. I think here is better. Maybe we can select this edge loop, dissolve, and then select these and move this closer around here. Then let's go back and I'm going to select all and symmetrize Z to -C. Alright, and then again select all, mesh, symmetrize, and Y to -Y. I want to make it smaller through the Z-axis, but I can do this like so. I need to move the vertices, so I'm gonna select this, go to edit mode and select this edge loop and dissolve this, and then I'm gonna select both, go to edit mode, go to wireframe, and I'm gonna select these and move this down a little, and it's -0.03, and also these, and I'm gonna move this up and it's 0.03. all right, and maybe we can select these again and move this down, and also I'm gonna move the whole top part up, so I'm gonna select all, go to edit mode, wireframe, and select all and move this up a little. And also for this one again, I'm going to select these and move this up through Z-axis a little. Alright, time to make this button. To make this, you can select this object, go to edit mode, and you can select these polys, and then right click loop tools and circle and make this button from this faces, or you can make it from a new object. So I put the 3D cursor here. I'm gonna add a circle with 24 vertices, scale this down, and then go to edit mode and extrude this up, and then press F to fill this, and then press I for inset, and then extrude down, and then do another inset like so, and then extrude this up and another inset, and then delete these faces, select this edge loop, and then Ctrl F and grid fill. Also you can add an edge loop here, and then you can select these, and then you can make a bevel like so, and adding subdivision surface, 2 levels. Also I'm going to select this vertex and turn on the proportional editing, and then I'm gonna move this up. You can scroll your mouse to change the size, maybe something around here. I'm gonna move this down inside this and shade it smooth. Alright, let's move on to the back side, and we'll start with this part. So I'm going to add a plane and rotate this to y-axis and reposition and rescale like so. Then go to edit mode and move these vertices up like here, and select this face and do an inset like this. Then I'm gonna select this edge and extrude down. Then I'm going to add an edge loop and then delete this half. Then I'm gonna select this vertex and Ctrl Shift B to do a bevel for this vertex, and then I'm gonna change the shape like this and decrease this like here. Alright, then we can delete these faces. Alright, then I'm going to select this face and delete, and let's select these edges, and then you can press Ctrl E and offset edge slide, or press Ctrl Shift R to do that, and then you can press E for make it even and put it here. Then I'm gonna select the knife tool and do a cut like so. Then here I'm going to use the knife tool again and do a cut. Then select these faces and press F, and also use the knife tool and do a cut here, and also another one here. I'm gonna add an edge loop here and Ctrl B for doing the bevel, and then I'm gonna select this vertex and move this down around here. Now let's go down here and do an edge loop here, press E, F, make it even, use the knife tool and do another cut like so, and then a cut from here, and then join these two together by pressing J, and also another one from here. Now I can add the subdivision surface for 2 levels, and I'm gonna select all, go to mesh, symmetrize, and -Y to Y. Also another edge loop here to make this one sharp as well, and also select this one, do a Ctrl B for bevel and put the profile on 0.5. Okay, then I'm gonna select all and extrude this around here, and then I'm going to add some edge loop, and I can shade a smooth this maybe on 3. Right now I'm gonna go to isolate mode, and let's move this up a little, maybe around here. Alright, and I'm gonna go down here and add an edge loop, then select these faces and extrude. Then let's add an edge loop here, and then select these edge loops, scale through X axis to move this closer to this edge, and then select these edges and Ctrl V for 2 segments, bevel the shape on 1, and then do a cut like this. Also you can move this double G to merge them together, also this one. And then I'm going to add an edge loop here, press E and F like so. Now we need to go up here and let's add an edge loop, scale this, flatten to Z axis, and then do a bevel by pressing Ctrl B, 2 segments, move this up, and let's go to the back side, and I'm going to select these, scale this to Y axis, flatten, and move these here. And then select these faces and extrude like here, and then delete these faces and move this up. And maybe we can move this around here because I want to make a circle here. So add an edge loop, another edge loop, and then select these faces from both sides and do an inset, right click loop tools and circle. Then also we can change the radius around here and then rotate. Okay, then Ctrl E and bridge edge loops. Then I'm going to select these edges and do a bevel. And if you don't want your bevel to be like this, you can go back and then you can select these vertices and move this up. Also, I'm going to add another edge loop here. Then let's delete these faces and then select all and do another symmetrize like so. And the last thing I'm going to do is go to edit mode, select these faces, and then press Shift S, cursor to selected, and then go back to object mode and right click, set the origin to 3D cursor. And yeah, then we can go back from isolate mode and we can move this back a little like so. Then we can rotate this from here. And also I'm going to make it a little thinner, so delete this edge loop and also this one inside this. Alright, then go to wireframe, select these vertices and move this a little closer like here. Alright, like this, and I'm gonna select these two and do an scale like around here. And if you want to, you can add an edge loop here as well. Okay, then now I can rotate this. Let's continue for the next part. Now for this one, I'm going to add a circle. So Shift A, circle. I'm gonna use 24 vertices for this circle and then rotate this to y-axis 90 degrees and rescale and reposition. And then I'm gonna go into the isolate mode, go to edit mode, press F, and then join these two vertices by pressing J and then delete this face. I'm going to select this edge and extrude around here. You can go back to object mode and then right click, set the origin to 3D cursor, and then go to modifier and then add a mirror modifier and then put the axis on Y and not X. And then you can move this edge, and before that you can turn on the clipping and put this here. Alright, let's go back from the isolate mode and let's select these two and then go to isolate mode again and then select this one, go back to edit mode, wireframe, and then I'm gonna add an edge here. Alright, select this one, move this up around here, and again another extrusion, and then select this one and move it here. Alright, then I'm going to go back from the isolate mode and this time select this one only and again go back to edit mode and isolate mode, and then I'm gonna select all and do an inset around here maybe, and then select these vertices, snap it here, also this one, snap here, use a knife tool, do a cut through y-axis. Then select these faces, press F to make it at one face, delete this edge. And now I'm going to add an edge loop here, flatten to Y, and put it here, another one here, flatten to Z. And this one, use a knife tool, do a cut like this. Like these two, press F. Also, same thing here. Then add a subdivision surface, 2 levels, and yeah. Now we can select all and extrude like so. I'm gonna apply the mirror modifier by hovering my mouse on the modifier and then press Ctrl A to apply. And now I'm going to select these faces and delete. Also here, you can add an edge loop, or we can add 2 edge loops like so. Now go back from the isolate mode and move this inside the model. I have to mention that you can leave this end gun like so. There's no problem with this because this is a flat surface and there's nothing special here. You can leave it like this. But if you don't want that and you want to fix this, you can add an edge loop here and then you can use your knife tool and you can add some edges like this. Now let's create this section. Alright, now for making the screw, I'm gonna select this one, go to edit mode, select this vertex and then Shift S, cursor to selected, go back to object mode, add a circle with 24 vertices, and rescale and reposition. Go to isolate mode, go to edit mode, press F to fill this, I for inset and extrude, and I'm gonna do 2 more inset like this. Then I'm gonna use the knife tool and do a cut like so. Then I'm going to select these faces and extrude inside around here. Alright, then scale this down. Then I'm gonna select these faces and then press 2 for edges and deselect these edges. Alright, then I'm going to do a bevel for 2 segments. Then I'm going to put the meter outer to arc like so, and adding the subdivision surface, shade smooth, okay. And also you can use a knife tool and join these vertices like so. And selecting these edges and Ctrl V, 2 segments bevel, profile on 1, and also you can select this edge loop and do another extrusion here as well, and add a bevel. And you can use the mirror modifier, so select this one, go to modifiers, mirror, and select this object as the mirror object, and then put the axis on Y, and you can apply this. For the next part, I'm going to select this one and go to edit mode, select these edges and Shift S cursor to select it. Then I'm going to add a cylinder with 8 vertices and then rescale and reposition. And then apply the scale. Then go to isolate mode. I'm going to select this face and delete. And also we can delete this face as well. Then select these edges, extrude and right click to cancel this, and then scale and then extrude. Scale this down a little, another extrusion, scale down, and then another one like so, and then Ctrl F, grid fill. And then you can select these two and do a bevel, 2 segments, and then add the subdivision surface. Next, I'm going to select these vertices and move this around here. And then I'm going to add a mirror modifier and put the axis on Y. And let's go back from the isolate. And then select this object as mirror object. Also turn on the clipping. Also, we can select this and scale this up a little. And also, you can go to edit mode and select these vertices and move this back. And also, let's go to isolate mode, edit mode, and move this back around here. Alright, then we can apply the mirror modifier. And now we are adding the last details. Now let's add a circle. Then go to edit mode, select this vertex and then press V and right click to rip this and then move this up. And also this one, you can delete this one. Then select this vertex and extrude this up around here and do another extrusion around here as well. And you can go back to object mode, right click, convert this to curve, and then go to object data properties, under geometry, under bevel, and increase the depth. Alright, then again, I'm gonna convert this to mesh, and here, let's select this edge loop and then press F, and then you can select all and Ctrl B for 2 segments bevel, and I'm gonna add an edge loop here. Select this edge loop, do a bevel, and you can press Ctrl 2 for 2 level subdivision surface and then shade smooth. Select this one, double G to move this up. Maybe we can delete this and do another bubble like this. Also, we can go back to object mode and move this closer around here. Okay, then I'm going to add the mirror modifier. Select this object as mirror object and then put the axis on Y and then apply the mirror modifier. So now I'm gonna go to edit mode and select these edges, Ctrl E, bridge edge loops, and increase the number of cuts like so. Select these two objects, go to isolate mode, and then I'm gonna select this one, go to edit mode, and I'm gonna delete this half, and then select these vertices, then move this closer around here. Okay, then go back from the isolate mode, add a mirror modifier, select this object as mirror object and select the y-axis and then apply. Now let's go to the other side and I'm gonna press Shift S and cursor to warp origin and then adding a plane. Then select this face and press X and delete the only faces. And also I'm gonna apply the scale. Then I'm gonna go to edit mode and select all and then press Ctrl Shift V to do a bevel and put the shape on 0.5. You can increase this. Alright, then you can convert this to curve. Again, go here and increase the depth. Alright, then again, I'm gonna convert this to mesh and apply subdivision surface 2 levels. And here I'm gonna add edge loops and then select these edge loops, Ctrl B, 2 segments bevel, and move this here. Also, adding edge loops here as well. Then select these, Ctrl V, 2 segments bevel around here. Okay, then shade smooth. And also, this is not exactly at the middle, so the thing I'm gonna do is right click, set the origin to geometry, and then select this one, Shift S, cursor to selected, and then select this one, Shift S, selection to cursor, and then I'm gonna move this here. Now it is exactly at the middle. So here I'm going to do the same thing for this part. I'm going to go into edit mode, select this vertex and Shift S, cursor to selected. Then I'm going to add a plane. Then apply the scale, go to edit mode, select this face and delete only faces. And then move this up. Add 2 vertices and then select this edge and extrude this up like so, delete this face and also this edge. Alright, then I'm going to select all and then Ctrl Shift B for 2 segments bevel like this. Then I'm going to convert this to curve. You can increase the depth like so. Also convert this to mesh and add edge loops here. Select these, do bevel, and here do bevel. And also I'm gonna press Shift S and cursor to selected. And here I'm gonna put the transform pivot point on 3D cursor. Let's go back from the isolate mode. Then I'm going to select these edges, put the transform orientation to local and move this down a little. Also adding subdivision surface and shade smooth. And the last part, let's select this one, go to edit mode and select this edge loop, put the cursor here, add a cylinder and with 16 vertices. And rescale, rotation, and reposition. then delete this face and extrude this one. You can select this faces and then extrude faces along normal, like so. Okay, and select these edges and do a bevel. And one level subdivision surface, shade smooth, add an edge loop here, and you can put this inside this. Alright, then I'm going to select this, go to modifiers, add a mirror modifier, select this object as mirror object, also duplicate this, and this time put the axis to Y, and then apply both of these modifiers, and we're done. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.